So in this segment, we're going to be talking about businesses, specifically the British Chamber of Commerce, asking the UK and the EU to reopen the Brexit deal in order to get rid of the problems we're facing right now, the UK. And there's two different ways to look at this kind of play by the British Chamber of Commerce. You can either see it in the skeptical view that it's trying to bring both sides together in order to say, look, we need a solution here, and both sides need to find one together, which would be the very cynical and very generous take to give. I would say this take is very stupid, because if you wanted to solve the cross-border issues that the UK is currently having, you would say you should rejoin the single market and the customs union. That will get rid of the vast majority of the problems when it comes to exports, but the UK aren't going to do that. And so that's what the Chamber of Commerce should be pushing. I suppose if they did do that, then, the press would either ignore them or call them a bunch of Ramonas. But, it's your choice, really. Go for this kind of 50-50 approach and get nowhere, or actually start calling people out and, maybe get someone to listen to you, because you might actually change opinions that way. I don't know. Especially if you pull up that clip of Daniel Hannan and the rest of them saying absolutely no one is threatening our place in the single market. And you ask the question, why did Daniel Hannan say this? Is it because he knew this could be the outcome? I don't know. All I know is he's got a double fist apparently from Oxford. So anyways, the past year has seen our country face some of the most extreme economic conditions in its history. All self-inflicted, by the way, in case anyone didn't remember that. The effects of the lockdown saw all primary indicators of the health of our economy crash in the early months of 2020. True, the Rona did do a lot of damage. And whilst the historic achievement of the successful vaccine program is seeing these indicators now rebounding at record pace, giving a lot of credit to Bojo, because that's something he takes a lot of credit for, even though he shouldn't really, especially since vaccine rates are very low right now. There is now a gathering storm in our export sector that threatens to derail the recovery and our long-term ambitions for a truly global Britain. So they're using a lot of the buzzwords Boris Johnson would use. So it's very clear the Chamber of Commerce are trying to get the Tory party on side here to try and fix the problems. The nicey nice approach. The issue is they don't play ball like that. At the same time, there will be a limit on the recovery of the British economy, because we will get capped, because exports are, being impacted. That means we produce and sell less. That means you're creating less jobs, essentially, than there were before Brexit. So you're not going to get the big economic growth that you could get, especially since our economy tanked the hardest out of most developed countries, which was just embarrassing. 8 months on from the end of the Brexit transition period, issues in our new relationship with our largest and closest trading partner are still causing massive problems for our exporters. Again, that was a choice the UK made. Sorry, I shouldn't say the UK, GB made, because Northern Ireland aren't having these problems. Let's be absolutely clear here, these are not teething problems. True, these are long term. These are going to stay for as long as the UK is not within the single market and the customs union. True. Indeed, exporters are historically the leading innovators and problem solvers for our dynamic UK community. Did not know that. And what they are telling us is that they are facing problems which they simply cannot solve, because these are problems that the government has to fix. Private industry cannot solve this. Private industry cannot put us back in the single market and customs union. That's down to the government. SMEs, small and medium-sized exporters have found themselves consumed in an avalanche of red tape and blockaded by disruption, to the degree that many have been simply forced to cease selling to EU-based customers altogether. And you're losing a huge export market there by doing that. We have shut ourselves off from one of the, I think it is the biggest single market in the world. So congratulations, Liz Truss. You can sign all the trade deals you want, but you won't get us a better one than we had before. The Chamber of Commerce most recent export survey in June showed that 3 out of 4 exporters were seeing no growth in sales for the second quarter of 2021. Because they'll tell you, it's down to production issues and the pandemic and all this nonsense. But the simple fact is, sales to the EU have stopped or been cut down, not because of a lack of demand, but a lack of supply on our side. Sales of Irish whiskey has gone up, but sales of Scotch has gone down. It's not because people in the EU don't want Scotch and want Irish whiskey now. It's because they can't get access to Scotch because of Brexit. It's not a hard one to figure out, guys. People need to start seeing this for what it is. Whilst the proportion, so go back to where we were, Whilst the proportion reporting reduced sales was historically high at 28%, yes, the pandemic played its part, but that is by no means the only factor. As one exporter put it, a combination of COVID and Brexit has generated serious uncertainty and delays for our business, but Brexit is far more of an issue rather than COVID. Because the thing you've got to remember is the government keeps saying, oh, we're out of the pandemic, Freedom Day, all of this stuff. So how are you going to blame the pandemic when, when you're saying it's not a problem? You're saying, oh, loads of people have to self-isolate. Well, surely if that's the case, you should either change the isolation rules, which would be a disaster, or you accept that we're still in, a wave of COVID. Or your other option is to finally blame Brexit, which is the true cause of most of these problems. But that's up to the British government, which, they're definitely going to keep riding the COVID wave as long as possible, because they can't admit Brexit's the problem, because they created that problem. It's a self-inflicted wound. That is why we are calling on senior ministers in the government, as well as EU officials, to step in and urgently examine the issues we are currently plaguing the small and medium-sized exporters. Now, let's look at this, okay? So the EU have said to us, look, rejoin, get an SPS agreement. That would resolve a lot of the problems within agri-foods. The UK have said no. The EU have said rejoin the customs market and the customs union and the single market. That will resolve a lot of the issues. The UK said no. So the EU have offered the solutions. The UK have said no. What else can the British Chamber of Commerce ask the EU to do? Are you going to ask for, free access to the EU's customs union and single market without us doing checks, even though we're out of those two? That's not going to happen. This is all on the UK, and the Chamber of Commerce taking this kind of 50-50 approach is just embarrassing, because you guys need to buck up and actually call out the government, because if you're doing what's in the best interest of the businesses, what you have to do is start calling out the government for their failures. If you do not do that, then people will carry on thinking it's just the pandemic, when we know that's not the case. You have to start appealing to people and telling them, look, it's not the pandemic, it's COVID. It's Brexit, that's the problem. That's what we need to start seeing here. But until the British Chamber of Commerce, until the media and other businesses start getting involved and telling us what the real problems are, we'll get nowhere, because the government ain't going to care. Until it becomes catastrophic to the point where the ordinary person starts realising these problems, the government won't care. You guys need to step up and do something here. Otherwise, we're going to keep facing the same problems, and all these businesses you claim to represent will continue to struggle. We need these issues to be raised as an urgent priority at the Partnership Council meetings between the two sides and looked at personally by the Iceman and Maros Sefcovic. Well, Sefcovic, they've already discussed this. The EU have set out the proposals within the EU's frame. I can't think of the exact word right now. The EU's mechanisms of, all right, are you a member of the customs union? You get these privileges. Are you members of the single market? You get these privileges, etc. And the UK have decided that we want to be out of that setup. We can't have it both ways. We can't have full access to the single market and the customs union without being a member of those things. I don't understand why the Chamber of Commerce has such a hard is so limited, and they can't understand that. There are people on Twitter, trade experts, giving you this stuff for free. They won't even charge you for this information. Like, come on, guys. Currently, the cost of attaining a vet sign certificate for every consignment shipped and the burden of having to pre-notify authorities before shipping are crushing businesses in the agriculture and food and drink sectors. Okay, get the SPS agreement then. You'll be most of the way there to solving the problems. If the UK had more vets, we would be in a better situation, but the veterinary system in this country is private, and most of the vets in this country want to deal with domestic animals, like my cat Shinji, he's not here right now, otherwise I would have put a picture of him or something. Or, dogs, nice friendly animals that won't attack you like a bull or other farm animals would. But the thing is, a lot of the vets who would work in the farms, these were EU vets, they're all gone. So that's one of the other reasons why you're having such high costs when it comes to veterinary certificates. And so once again, that's down to the government to fix a systemic problem. We also need rapid resolution regarding the CE marked. That's been delayed by the government. We'll talk about that on another day. Point being is that the UK have had to delay this because companies won't want to go through 2 lots of certification. The EU CE mark is very well respected. Even in certain products in the US, they have the CE mark there because they know those products can be exported to both the EU and If they have the US certification, they can be exported there. If they have to do a third lot of certification, they might not even bother coming here because it's just extra expense, especially since in the article I read, we don't have the facilities to even test these products. The only thing we'll be doing is looking at, have the EU certified this? All right, let me steal your homework. That's what's going to happen here. But this is a really embarrassing article from the Chamber of Commerce. If you actually wanted to help these companies, you would do the right thing and call out the government. If you want to carry on as you are and kind of do this 50-50 nonsense like you're the BBC, then fine. Have fun getting nowhere and representing absolutely no one. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.